Uh, I'll go, so is it just because you can't make the room, like, make it happen kind of thing? Or, because if you're having problems picking it up mechanically, there's stuff that you can do, like, a lot of times when that happens, it's because you need to have 60 or 40 inventory space on your person to pick it up, because it's 40 weight. It's not even letting you target it with the pickup thing. Oh no, that's not how you pick up generators. Sorry, generators have their own thing. So you go up to it and you go like this and go right click. You have to turn it off, disconnect it, but then take generator will be one of your options here. So it's right click on the generator and choose take generator. You have to have, I believe it's 40 inventory space available though. A 40 kilogram. Oh no, I understand, because it's the only thing in the entire game that works that way. So I have 100% out there going, why can't I get this? But yeah. Well, and the worst thing is a lot of times when I hear people conflate stuff with freedom of speech, it's like, no, what I'm saying is this company doesn't need to hand you a microphone and let you shout whatever it is you want to shout at the top of their lungs. They have the right to say, I'm not going to give you that microphone. You can keep shouting it, just not here. Like, this is my house. This is my place of business. I can tell you no. Now, if you want to stand outside and shout all that crap, you're welcome to do it. Oh, thick fog. That's fine. We're on our way. We're doing it. It's fine. If we get caught in the fog and the trip up, we'll just slow down. Right, I gotta remember this van. Was it the van? No, it was the other vehicle that had the, like, minuscule gas tank. I didn't actually look at the quality of anything other than the fact that the engine had a lot of horsepower in this van, honestly. Which may be a mistake, because I could be working with, like, a terrible gas tank or something. Have I cleared the secret base on 16X Pop? I have not. The big problem that I'm going to run into with the secret base more than anything is it's a dirt road that goes to it. And that thing is going to be a hot mess when it comes to, like, as far into this game. I can't remember if it was the van or it was the other vehicle, because there's another vehicle we looked at as well. It is this one. Yeah, so it's got a bunch of, like, average and okay parts. So this van could definitely use some more parts. I think for right now it's fine. We can use this van because, like, I think ultimately my goal is going to be to try and find either the fire truck, like the fire marshal kind of truck, or the police bulldozer truck, whatever it's called. Find one of those that's in good enough shape for me to fix up, and then we fix that up and start worrying about, like, finding the biggest gas tank we can and, you know, the best suspension we can, all that kind of stuff. Because right now we're just taking whatever vehicle we get our hands on, because I do want my mainstay vehicle to have sirens. That is a must for me, because I'm going to use those sirens for the purpose of drawing the zombies around. But yeah, all the locations I have to access using a dirt road, not looking forward to it. Because they're going to be so overgrown, it's going to be an absolute pain. Right, all the trees are chopped because realistically, you're not going to be able to drive along the road. And then on top of that, Oh, here comes the thick fog. I'm probably going to have to slow down. Like, on top of that, the alternative would be to walk through those trees. And that is not an exciting prospect in my mind. Like, honestly, legitimately, that secret base might be one of the most dangerous parts in the map for me to deal with, just because I will have no choice but to chop down the trees where there's probably tons of zombies. Like, realistically, I pull the car up, I have the sirens running, and we just drive the car a couple spaces forward, kill whatever shows up, chop down a couple of trees once they stop showing up, and keep repeating. Yeah, police van would also work. Basically, like, or an ambulance. Basically anything that's got decent cargo, a siren, and I can fix it up. Any of those would be a win in my book. Pretty soon, we're going to be at the point where I'll need to start ditching my jacket and all that, because we'll walk around and hit a couple. At the moment, I'm drinking some diet root beer. So I'm doing that because no caffeine. My wife drinks a lot of diet soda, but I don't particularly care diet or otherwise. Is it normal for seemingly healthy vehicles to not start right away? Or is that just a thing when you hotwire them? That happens. So if you actually look at your vehicle, and I'll show you here in a second. So if you actually look at your vehicle when you go and grab it, and you look at, not just up here, but you click on engine, you'll see where it says quality 74. This is a strong indicator on how well it will start. The lower this number, the worse it'll be at starting. So it's really good to have that information. Yeah, so this quality down here, you see this is kind of how damaged your engine is. This is like how good the manufacturing is of it. Like how, like, is this a premium engine or kind of a crap engine? And that's true of a lot of parts. A lot of parts when you look at them, you'll see like the 88% or whatever it is that's next to it. And that's just like how damaged that part is, not like how good that part is, not counting damage. I actually don't know the answer about dropping in a new engine. Like, I don't know how that works. Mechanic is one of the skills I haven't taken as far as I could. That's one of the things I do intend on correcting this run, because this is going for a very long run. I am going to want to fix all the things I can. I do know most of the time people don't try and like do stuff with the engine. They like use the engine as the determining factor if a vehicle is good or not. They just look and say, is this a good engine? Yes, cool. We'll do something with this. Is it a bad engine? You know, yeah, not going to. Gotcha, so it is only a mod thing? Cool. I figured as much, because I haven't seen like an engine hoist or anything, and I've also not seen an engine like that you can buy, or not buy, what am I talking about? That you can like loot or whatever. That said, there are engine parts, and engine parts do allow you to repair. Ooh, is that a fresh jacket? Why is it ruined? I mean, as you get farther and farther in, the clothes are more and more likely to be tattered. So it's just, that's what we're running into, is the clothes zombies are wearing now are just shreds. Alright, I gotta drive real slow now, because fog be doing fog things. That's convenient. The fog just went away. I thought it was going to last longer than that. There is no height settings or anything like that for your character. James Tibber says, are you asking if it's possible to repair an engine to 100% or add more horsepower? You can use engine parts to return the engine to a better percent, but not make it, not add horsepower. Yeah, you can't, basically you can't improve the quality of the engine, but you can repair the engine. So you can make the engine like new, but if it's a new, like, really crappy engine, it's a new, really crappy engine. I may check some of these big police cars that we've drug around all over the place. See if one of those is like a particularly good engine in it. It makes sense to me that you can't repair the engine, like make the quality better, because it's kind of like one of those things. If you bought like, you have an old Honda Civic and you got one that's like got the SE like better engine and all that kind of stuff, versus like one's just the original stock one. Well, the SE is just gonna have a better engine, period. No matter how much you patch up and glue and weld the old engine, like the original one, it's just not going to be the SE. You're talking two entirely different engines. What do you... Oh, that's katana number 17. Thank you for your contribution to this place. Your contributions to our cause have been appreciated. I will wear that out, if you don't mind. Okay, you heard katana and you went, let's roll in. Let's take this off the road. I'm at this point where I'm like, you know what? I don't want the route in to be covered in zombies if I could help it. I am super excited for the next set of emotes. I do feel like I should have like a Pog or an equivalent of Pog emote though. But it's fine, like all we'll do is, we'll hit partner, we'll get a bunch of another emote slots, get all sorts of subscriber points, get even more emote slots, and gradually build up our army of emotes. I mean, I only want to do it for all of you, and I'm teasing. That's it, all of that would be awesome. You know, let's look at this car, because I didn't look at this car, and that sports car looks like it's in great shape, even though that sport car also looks like how we die. Like, for Ellen Ennis, looking at this sports car, I would assume this sports car is how we die. Alright, so clearly a doctor's sports car. Checks out. How many horses you got there, car? You look like you got some horsies. Ooh. Ooh. Let's talk. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take your battery right now. Don't worry about it. 570 horsepower. Ooh. That's a fun car. That's a you probably die. It's like the joke where, you know, I've had my dad say, it's like, what would you do if you got a Ferrari or a Dodge Viper or whatever car, like when you see an expensive car like that. It's like, what'd you do? It's like, first thing I'd do is I'd sell it. It's like, why would you do that? It's like, well, simple. I would die in that car. Like that car is my immediate death. I'm not a reckless driver, but you touch the gas pedal too hard in one of those cars and it's just done. Yup. Wait, was that? That's not a Vet, it's a Chevrolet. I don't care. It's a fast car. I'm not an expert on cars. That was, my older brother, when he got his, he got an MBA, and one of the people who was one of his, like, one of our students was clearly a person who came from money. And as a graduation gift, they got, I can't remember what it was, they got him like a Ferrari or something stupid like that. And immediately the person, like, you could tell they hadn't even got a chance to drive it, like they were giving it at the graduation, and just absolutely couldn't shift right at all. And it was just super painful to hear and watch. You're just like, these are cars that you cannot shift wrong without destroying. Like, I am watching this person just slap the clutch wrong and just envisioning tens of thousands of dollars burning as this engine is protesting. Okay, I don't see any zombies in the area, so our building is clear. You know what really grinds my gears? When people shift to grind their gears. I mean, don't get me wrong, I had this, I had a really old Honda Civic that was my first car that I bought for like $300. And you might be going, man, cars must have been cheap back then. No, that's just how much of a piece of junk this car was. It got to point A to B without involving C, which is a miracle considering what the car was. But like, it was 3 different colors. It would kick out of first and third gear if you didn't hold the stick in on first and third gear. Like, we're talking a real piece of junk. But yeah, there were times with that car, it's like, you know why the gears are grinding? Because this transmission's shot. I would love it to not do that. But yeah. Yeah, NG Saint, I would say it worked in quotation marks. It got there, but it was a really, really temperamental car that had all sorts of issues. Like, I learned so much from that car because it took everything I could to keep that thing on the road. Like, you know, I mentioned the whole thing of the transmission. Well, I tore apart that transmission, and, you know, that car was not worth the money to, like, rebuild out a whole transmission properly. So, re-welded a bunch of material onto the I don't even know what the term for it is anymore. It's the main set of gears for the transmission are on a metal cylinder. That main metal cylinder, like, it was all chewed up because the person who owned the car before me drove like a total jackass. Pardon my French. So, that thing was all chewed up and wrecked. So we had to re-weld material on it, return it, clean it all up. Both the... Oh, what are they even called? It was a master cylinder... It was master cylinder and slave cylinder for the clutch was all shot and ruined. There was some type of plate involved. Like, it has been over 20 years since I worked on that thing. I don't remember half the terms because nowadays I'm just like, you know what? I'll just drive an automatic. Back in the day, there was the argument that, you know, manual, because you knew the context, you could get more gas efficiency, but nowadays, automatics are so much better. Like, so far as gas efficiency goes, there's the joy of the drive and all that. I would be down if someone wanted to make a mod that turns this into an intramurals van, where it's just like, you have the shell pattern here. I mean, it's also like one of those things, like, I feel no need to dress up like Batman or anything, but if, again, you walk outside one day and just in your driveway, you have the Batmobile just sitting there, I'm like, alright, well, I guess I get a Batman costume now, because, you know, I mean, clearly fate has deemed it that I must dress up as Batman and drive around in the Batmobile, playing, like, the OG Batman theme song. Alright, Foxmouse, you have yourself a good sleep, and thank you for hanging out. No, even if you take, like, one of the worst Batmobiles, I would still do it. Now, I do it so it's partially, like, ironically. So, like, when I drove from place to place, I'd do, like, the whole scene change thing. I was like, ma-na-na-na-na. So the katana minus thing you're seeing appear over my head, that's a mod called Weapon Condition Indicator. So every time you see katana down arrow, what it's telling me is my katana has taken a little bit of damage. It's a little bit closer to being broken. Yeah, so we just took a little durability damage on the katana. Because the way durability works in this game is kind of weird. Every time you hit something, it rolls the dice and says, okay, did our weapon take damage? And if you lose the roll, then you know your weapon takes damage. After your weapons take enough damage, your weapon breaks. So technically, with the luck of RNG, you could in theory have a weapon that lasts forever. Now, of course, that would be statistically impossible, but you know, technically not actually impossible. Though some crowbars certainly try to make it happen. Yeah, I'm talking like Adam West Batman. What'd you do, El Goso? What awful mistakes you did? Well, I mean, you can put them in the concrete. I don't know why it works, but you know, it works. Yeah, unfortunately, rhetorical answer, a lot of times, flamingos. Everyone, hang on. Important stuff happening. Oh, there's 4 of them. This house has so many flamingos. This is exciting. Oh, right. We've already gone through a whole winter. Like, pretty much everything's going to have dead batteries now. So my days of just randomly starting cars are solidly over. Yeah, you'll just have to make sure whatever parts of the roof you put them on, they need to be like standing off the edges of the roof. Otherwise, the texture of your building will overlap them. It is super annoying and frustrating, and I hate it, but you know, it is just how it works. Oh, having something with some actual horsepower just immediately just go, this car, yank. Don't walk away. No. Don't walk away in the trees. Come on. Don't make me shout and draw you all out. I'm just gonna poke you and hope everyone else hears. They did. Thank you. Oh, I'm sure, like, if you get enough people asking around, if people do it because, like, alright, sure, why not? This is ridiculous. Let's do this. Especially if it's something as easy like a texture replacement kind of thing. Excellent. Let's start from the farthest one and work back. That way if I see any zombies here, I'm not already carrying, like, 4 flamingos. Excellent. Gnome shotguns and flamingo sentries. I mean, sounds like a plan to me. We've made this neighbor that guy in the neighborhood. You know, the one who has like the wrecked car they just leave in their front yard all the time. Engine parts strewn around the ground. Yep, no, the vans are pretty good. The problem you run into with a lot of the vans is a lot of them will actually have pretty underpowered engines. Like, I've seen a lot of vans similar to the Spiffo van where it'll be like, this thing has a 260 horsepower engine. You're going, oh no. And you'll go to move the van, and the van by itself will actually take a little bit to get going. Oh yeah, like, honestly when I first looked, it's like, ah, it's a Spiffo van. There's like, Spiff van, you looked at the horsepower, I'm like, hold on. Let's talk. How many horses? That truck looks like in good shape. Gonna take a peek at that truck. Coming, zombie? I saw you go in those trees. Oh, there's two of you. I did not know there was two of you. What you packing in here, trucky? Got anything good for me? That is a very odd amount of horsepower. A very specific odd amount of horsepower. 364.8 horsepower, to be exact. Nah, I'm not smashing the window. I don't care enough. Let's deal with them. Drag these out of the way. This is one of those things that's going to slow us down a lot, is getting all these cars out of the way. The generator can go inside my house, right? No. Like, actually, if you put the generator down on the ground inside your house, it'll even sit there and say, you know, like, like, it is dangerous or lethal or whatever to run this generator here or something like that. Like, it'll actually give you text basically being like, hold up, don't do this. And not like an extra prompt, like, on the generator itself, it'll just say it. Like, it's like, no joke, you don't want to do this. And what it counts as inside gets really bad. You can't actually die from that? Oh, right. I mean, so I've definitely heard that people can die from that in the game. Now, granted, it could be that they got super low and then they're carrying too much kind of thing. But it's one of those things that's the two things that can only reduce health to so much combined together then can kill you. Something like that I could see. But either way, like, it is not safe. Yeah, no, if someone wants to test that, I would appreciate it. I much prefer having someone go like, we are actively testing this. This is the thing we did. Hey, Lawful Falafel, thank you so much for the raid. Give me a moment, I'm going to give you a shout out. Lawful Falafel also plays Project Zomboid, chill stream, much like we've got here. So, absolutely worth, you know, tuning in. So how is your stream? I understand last we talked, you said you had like 4 different runs going simultaneously. I have no idea which one you're in the middle of, but hopefully it went well. You have a Dorito hand. Emote excellent. I remember you talking about on one of your streams, like wanting a mod that adds a Dorito hand or something to the game. Like just... it doesn't do a whole bunch of stuff, it just reskins one of the weapons. I remember hearing you talking about that. Okay, we got a second raid here from Mundo. Also playing Project Zomboid. So thank you so much, and thank you for the follow. Aroshihoks. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. If I got it wrong, please correct me. I want to get it right. Yeah, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. At the moment, we're just... Oh, and I should ask, Mondo, how is your stream? Hopefully, for the both Lawful Falafel and Mondo, since you both raid about the same time, hopefully your streams only involve zombie deaths and not your own. And if it did involve your own deaths, hopefully at least it was fun or you learned something. But at the moment, we are doing 16x zombie pop, multiple helicopters, no respawns. So what that means is we have the game set to the absolute most zombies the game will handle, and we're going to kill them all. So we are wrapping up Riverside. We haven't gotten to the expensive part of town. So, Resh-E Hawks. Gotcha. Ah, got you. So, like, I thought it was like, okay, I felt like those streams or raids are probably related. Just for timing. All surviving is good. So far, we've only had, I would say, 2 particularly close things of almost dying. The closest we come to dying was actually to zombie bodies. Not zombie bodies in the sense that like we got all weakened and then got into a fight or something all like that. I mean, literally, there was so many zombie bodies that we couldn't get away from. We actually got all the way up to fever and dropped down to about 10% health before I managed to get under control. So, like, literally almost died to corpses. But we had that. And then we had a van that was like one of the big box vans. I walked up to it and there was some cheeky zombie just hiding behind it where you couldn't see it. And the zombie actually did manage to grab us and get a hold of us. Like, I saw the zombie went to run fast but just couldn't react quick enough. Luckily, I tailor my clothes heavily most of the time. And tailoring saved the day. But yeah, so we've cleared out most of the zombies in this area already. Like, we haven't been through the area, but with the sheer amount of stuff going on, we've made so much noise, we've drawn zombies all over the place. But yeah. Yeah, there was a reason why I'm not driving around the box van anymore. That, like, immediately after that, aw, did you just seriously take 3 durability hits back-to-back, Katana? Come on, don't tease me like this. Now I gotta go back to, like, normal fighting. Yep, if you find a military coat or a military jacket, pat it. Yes. Yeah, and I've gotten to the point, like, and I was always a big fan of it, like, nah, not being able to see behind the van for these kinds of runs, that's a deal breaker. And this was a 0 to hero build, where we started with 0 strength, 0 fitness, and everything. Not a point in any of our weapons or anything. We are no longer a 0. I wouldn't say we're quite hero rank yet, but we are getting pretty thick. Oh yeah, by the time you layer everything up with like full-on 10 tailoring, there's only like 4 or 5 pieces of your clothing that aren't scratch-proof. I think it's like the neck, the shins, and the hands, if I remember correctly. And then when it comes to the bite proof, it's something like you get 6 or 8 spots that are bite proof, and then like the others are ranged from like 60-70% or something like that, other than I think like the neck only gets like 40 or whatever. Which is real good at defensive. Oh yeah, no, we definitely absolutely thrash some zombies. And we switched out because we're getting low on stamina, and just in case, still want to play it safe. Avoid going exerted, because exerted means less damage, and less damage is no fun. Hey, zombie with the spear, how you doing? Don't like that you were lurking in those trees where I couldn't see you. That's not cool. You'll take your spear, though. So we aren't trying to clear a whole lot more of this. We are trying to get ourselves back to where we've been sleeping. So we're not going to worry about chasing down all these zombies right here. We're just trying to get home at the moment. Maybe we actually change where we sleep, because the one problem with that house we've been sleeping at is like the whole front yard is absolutely just full of trees. And I don't like trees. Trees are the enemy. They'll betray you and everyone you know and love. Okay, so it does have a door. So I am parking that van with the headlights still on and the engine running for a good reason, because it'll let me see inside the building. Okay, that was not a smart play on us, but we got away. I heard just the one, I'm like, ah, that's fine. Normally what I do to play it safe, and I did do it, and I'm glad I didn't pay for it, was normally I'll run up to the door and smack it a couple of times. Alright, well that would have been a very upsetting way for this run to end. Yeah, so right there, I just quickly got one swing in because we were already facing that way, and then I just tried to turn and run. We did bump one of the zombies who would have probably gotten a hit on us, but because we were running, we shoved them. And the good news was that they weren't all lined up, and so I bumped them all or anything. But yeah, that was definitely not played right on my part. So what I should have done, just to show you, and this is why I'm saying it was a mistake on my part. Turn all this off. So what I should have done is before I gone in, you can hit space against this door when it's closed and you've got your weapon ready, and you'll bang on the door a little bit. That would have agitated all the zombies in that bathroom. They would have smashed down the door in a few seconds, very easily warning me that, hey, you know, there's a party and everyone's invited, but you might want not to attend. Oh, sweet melted ice cream.